Oh, yeah, I was going to up the mic slightly. I had heard last week that maybe I was a bit too quiet, and does look like the levels are a bit on the quiet side, so let me turn myself up about 10%. See if that's maybe a little bit better. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. It's true. The whole quiet thing. If someone tells me I'm being too quiet, it's probably a mic issue. It's probably rarely a pebcac issue. Hello. All right. So I got some news, and then we're going to be questing on Sarlona week 2 of 2. We'll be doing some more Reaper stuff on Sharn. This is level caps. I want you to be all caps, if possible, for we are going to be doing the Reaper. Quick note, though, I've got a couple of bits of news, though, before I kind of get to all that stuff. Let me first make sure that everyone is aware. There we go. Stop that. See, that's what happens when I keep your show on, Shu. Call this up. On the live stream. So, on Friday, August 2nd, that is the Friday of Gen Con in downtown Indianapolis, but you do not need a Gen Con badge to attend. Friday, August 2nd, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Punch Bowl Social in Indianapolis. So we are going to be having a player meetup. This is for DDO and Lotro players and your friends and family as well. And we would like you to RSVP if you think you're going to be going there. We've had the RSVPs open to some degree for almost a week now, and we're getting pretty full to our limit, but we're not quite there yet. We at least have, let's say, 50 plus that are saying they're going to be there, and we have rented out a space. That includes, like, bowling. Let me see if I can find the activities here. Oh, I might be having a little bit of a problem because of the fact I'm trying to call this up on Twitch. But there's a bowling alley. There's going to be some, like, foosball and bonzini, which I don't quite know what that is. There'll be some other games and some board games there in the space, but not in our reserved space. There is a vintage arcade. And this is going to be, we will provide light food. Here we go. Bowling. I do think you guys are going to kind of have to rent your own shoes, but we're taking care of the lanes. We've got like ping pong, billiards, board games, card games, giant Jenga, etc. And a little bit of food. Don't expect some kind of big, massive menu here, but it is, we are going to have like kind of light food, probably some kind of meat and cheese trays and perhaps some kind of chips and salsa or something like that. But that is going to be happening on Friday, August 2nd, in Indianapolis, Indiana. And if you are interested in attending, you can go to DDO.com, click on the announcements form, and you'll find a link to RSVP and such. I do have a space there that you're interested but aren't sure if you can attend. At this point, like I say, we are getting pretty full to our space, but we do have, I think, at least something like maybe a dozen spaces open still. So if you think you're going to make it, now's probably the time to RSVP. And who's going to be there? Well, I will be there. So will Sev. And pretty sure, unless they find a way to evade me, which they will not, probably, we're going to have Flimsy Firewood there, and we are going to have Linabelle there. Yes. Friday, August 2nd, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Bring us your cues, and we will give you the answers of which we can. Anyone who's been to Gen Con meetups in the past will know that they are a very fun time. Great time to hang out with your fellow MMO gamers. Even the Lotro and DDO crowds tend to get along real well because there's a lot of crossover there. And, I think, what did we say last year? I think we mentioned we wanted to do Isle of Dread and announce Sharn. So, We may have some announcements this year. I don't know. We're right on the cusp of a whole bunch of news. And what gets released when is going to determine, I think, what we end up having to talk about at Gen Con. But at the very least, we're either going to be talking about stuff that just got announced, or we're going to be doing said announcing ourselves here. So that should be a pretty exciting time if you are a DDO person. If you are a DDO blogger, vlogger, streamer, YouTuber, press enthusiast, whatever, and you want to hang out with us and ask us a few official questions, we'd be happy to have you. It doesn't need to be on Friday evening. We'll work with your schedule. Get in touch with me, and we'll make sure we set up something either for Friday or Saturday, and we would be happy to talk to you as well. So, the Players Council is getting a bunch of news already, some of which you may be related to what I just discussed. But they're taking a look at some of the upcoming kind of class trees and a few other sort of things. A whole bunch of stuff that's really almost ready for the wider public, but isn't quite yet. So stay tuned. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. But one thing I can mention, we are planning next week to release Project Nemesis to the live servers. Project Nemesis is the new raid. You get the raid automatically if you have purchased the Masterminds of Sharn expansion. If you have not purchased the Masterminds of Sharn expansion, you will need to in order to run the new raid, but there is no flagging required. And it's just going to be released next week, most likely. That's our plan, is to release it next week. So, depending how things go in the coming days, we'll have a much more locked down time frame to announce, including some downtime, but that should be happening next week as well. All right, let me see what else I can do for questions before I head in game. I didn't just... Actually, I did book the place in part because it has a retro arcade, yes. But I was also looking for a replacement for the fine location that we used to go to. Hey, folks, how's it going? Sorry. Let me switch cameras in-game and divert my attention to the...
All right.
But hey, do you have a question? I'm quick taking care of my inventory and throwing a bunch of cosmetics in my bank before we get started here on continuing the questing we did last week on Reaper. Reaper 2 was kind of kicking our... 3 was kind of really kicked our butts. 2, we did okay until we didn't. I'm thinking maybe we're just going on Reaper 1 here.
Reaper 1, yeah. I was just wondering that, is there any changes to the banks coming out?
You mean like addition to bank space?
Well, not just like an overhaul of the system so we can get more bank space.
No, not at this point. That's not to say it won't ever happen, but it's definitely not on our short-term agenda here. There was a time that we had set aside to do that work, but unfortunately it wasn't quite ready to go at the time that it was... we had a lot of kind of negative feedback, valid feedback, and things that we want to address before we release it. And we're just not able to fit it in right now.
All right. Yeah, because I just need a lot more character bank space.
What? You do? Yeah. No.
Yep. I can't get any more on this character, man.
I understand. And we would like to, the people on camera here are seeing me kind of shove some cosmetics in my bank and things like that. Just finally making some space in this character that I should have done a while ago. It's something we'd like to do in the future as well. We'll see what we can do, but that stuff takes typically engineering time in addition to other time, and that's time that we just have spent doing some other things right now.
Would it be possible to do it like the list version in the inventory? The one between the normal inventory and the pets tab, so that you can sort it by type and all that stuff and add more that way?
Anything is possible, typically. I have no idea whether that would be the implementation we would use, however. That would be more of a. At best, I would be jumping the gun on the designers who would be doing the work. So probably best for me to not do that.
Yeah.
It'll be
I was
fine.
thinking, yep. I was thinking more something like the auction house. Get the auction house UI in there.
Yeah,
was just
might
my
that.
opinion.
I think if I were to pick, that would be my personal pick.
Is that you can get real details on real quick.
So we used to have the Gen Con meetup at a place called Social on McCree, but they unfortunately went out of business over the past year. Hope they landed on their feet okay. But we had to kind of try to find a place to do this meetup, especially once we were able to make it an official Standing Stone Games sponsored event. And so I'm really glad that I was able to find Punch Bowl Indianapolis and that they were so good to work with us so far. I think it's going to be a good time. And the fact that they had a vintage arcade was just kind of icing on the top. You know me, right? However, this does mean it is possible that this will be the time that those who wish to will see me kick some behind on like Galaga and stuff. So we can have if a bunch of y'all old folks like myself want to get into a little competition here, I'm probably down. Yeah, Secular Squirrel says, is it true that the upcoming Pale Master changes also double as DDO tech research, similar to how Cloak Tech greatly contributed to Tiefling Tail Tech? I don't know that I am personally aware of that direct a tie in the same way that was, but it would not surprise me at all to discover that some of the Pale Master work either had dependencies or otherwise would improve some other situation. That's pretty common stuff for what we do. So I'd say the odds are pretty good on that. All right, I am going in on same old song on, let's just do Reaper 1. Yeah, not a bad gold roll. I'm not actually very good at Miss Pac-Man. I'm okay. I can get into the 50,000s, but that's about the extent of it, which is nothing compared to real quote Miss Pac-Man players.
Pulled some strings to get you on the guest list. Perhaps now you can drive a wedge between the Boromar and Vaunt, but it looks like there may be trouble before you even get inside the door. The group of thugs suddenly attacks. Clearly, they want to prevent you from enjoying a night on the town. Of would-be patrons lingers in the courtyard. They must not be on the guest list.
I'm holding the other guys hostage over here.
All right. Sure, hold me just as I get done buffing. I am not currently running any PnP campaigns, but I will be soon. The past couple of months have been a lot of time spent with my son, and so I just haven't really had the free time to do that kind of thing. But in the relatively near future, I should probably have some more time, probably after Gen Con here. So I'm looking forward to getting in some more pen and paper stuff. I know I'm going to be doing a pen and paper thing with, I don't know how to pronounce her streamer name. Lucite? Wish I had checked that before I went live, but yeah. And she's someone I know in the area and does her own streaming, including, I believe, streaming some Load Trip. And is doing a DM thing that I'm going to be a part of, and that should be in August sometime.
And you're smack in the middle of it.
Lucity, yes.
The bouncer opens the front door, allowing you to enter Club Claw.
Asks it. Kokoma Jobo and crew are working to open Lamania today with a preview. You could find out some information about what exactly is going to be going on in a forum thread on Lamania. Kokoma Jobo's got kind of an introductory thread about what we're going to be seeing. There's some big stuff in there, including a bunch of the Epic Destiny stuff. So I think it's going to be a pretty hot Lamania, and that will be coming. I think the plan is later this afternoon, so we'll kind of have to see where we end up there, but that's the plan. So.
You notice a sign on the door. Rat infestation. Exterminators have already been contacted. Do not open.
Okay, so 45 does not get that thing. Noted.
I'm not sure what the Inconic Sorcerer is. Do you mean Iconic Sorcerer? I don't know what you're talking about on that one. Sorry. I am super happy that we were able to get Satine Phoenix to do some voice work in addition to Rudy and Kyle for Sharn. They were a perfect fit for the masterminds of Sharn, in my opinion.
I can get the healed one.
Tiny is concerned about the safety of a shipment he recently received. He thinks it might be tainted. The employees report nothing terribly unusual. You can tell Fenwick that all is quiet in the nightclub.
Alright, remember to stick together here. If you're in a different part of the map, you should not be. That includes you, Foley, and you, Shoemaker. And you... Oh, that's a Tyroline.
Oh, I was working on one of the optionals.
Yeah, don't work on one of the optionals. Stick with the group. Alright, Shu, I am still seeing you, or that's Arethea. Someone call Arethea to whoever is in control of said person, and Shu, get with the group.
He's kiting rats. Trying to allow us time to get up. Those suckers hit like a freight train.
Especially when we're in 4 different parts of the map.
Ow.
I have not heard of plans to bring Crystal Cove back in the short term. We just have other priorities. But I'm not opposed. I just don't think the timing's going to work out. Someone click Arethea and bring them to you. Arethea should not be wandering around on the southeastern portion of a darked out map. Oh, it's dead.
So the rats
Okay.
are back in their hole.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was dead. I had it highlighted. Anyway, sorry. So just Steel Star works on enhancement trees? No. We have other people who do that work as well. Zero Cool on YouTube. Nope, nothing to announce regarding Steam. When and if that becomes possible, we will let you know. Richard, VIPs do not need to purchase adventure packs, but they do need to purchase expansions, and this is an expansion. Let me get us a couple of cakes here to keep going. See if we can recover from this. Alright, we're going to have to get within range of Foley and Tarlius, so let's do a little buffing first, and then we will head over there.
Going around to the giants the fastest and safest way.
Alright.
Thank you. Yeah, I went and grabbed Shoe and went around. So I didn't bring them back to you guys.
Nope. Okay. Let me try to figure out how I can cast this while it's being kited. Oops.
Got a few of them on me, Jerry.
Yep, yep. I'll be working on that. Alright, there we go. Oh, wow. Alright.
Yeah, I was getting hit for about 300 a pop there.
Alright, remember, I'm the party leader. Stick with me. You should not be ahead of me. You should not be elsewhere. Even if I'm an idiot.
So does that mean we have to follow you into a trap?
Yes.
Leroy!
No,
Okay,
let
I'd
me
like to
change.
know
Let me
how
correct
at
that.
70.
When I am an idiot. When I am an idiot. Yes. Anyone need any
Okay,
buffing
how's
here
a
before we do
60
this?
not getting this?
Yeah.
If anyone's got a higher than 60 something spellcraft, would be my guess.
Nice. Nicely done.
All right, back to the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, we can go back. Okay. I was just gonna kind of pre-clear, but it's fine.
Fenwick is relieved to hear that the club is safe and secure. He gives you permission to approach Regina, Club Clawfoot's manager.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
A piercing alarm reverberates throughout the nightclub. Regina turns to you and cries, "The alarm! Someone's breaching our magical wards! It must be an attack! Quick, adventurers! Do what you do best!"
Ow.
All right, let me see what else we got.
Sure, you want to
the
get me up and I'll get
chat
everyone
here.
else up?
DivMind wants St. Patrick's Day cosmetics. Not entirely opposed to that. No, definitely no
I'll
cosmetic
be
masks
back.
of the devs.
All right, where are we? Perfect.
Ripe. Alright, let's just release.
Anyone got gibbers?
Or this is pathetic. We're just doing terrible anyway. Nivmind, if you sent an email to the community spotlight people about a YouTube series, it didn't get a mention. Do you resend the email or sit on my hands? You're welcome to resend the email. It's probably just the fact that we've kind of been alternating who's been on vacation in recent weeks. So either all of you or I was probably filling in for one or the other and missed your submission. Pretty much anything you send in, we're going to try to get on the Chronicle here. So just resend it in, and I'll keep an eye out for it. I have yet to finalize this week's Chronicle, and I'm doing it. So I'll make sure it gets in this week. Killed. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Elizabeth. Will there be loot at the get-together? I can make no promises. I can certainly say that I'm going to do my best on getting some swag, but I would say don't expect the smorgasbord we had last year of old swag, because we kind of got rid of all of it at last year's party. So I don't know if there's nearly as much swag to bring. But whatever there is, I'm happy to do. Is there an address people can send fan-made cosplay stuffs inspired by DDO? Oh, heck yeah. That would just be ddo@standingstonegames.com. If you think that it might be something you'd actually want to put, say, in the Chronicle, it might be best just to let us know that so that we know it's okay. But, yeah, that sounds awesome. We're totally down for that. And honestly, if you send it to me on social media, we'd probably retweet it, that sort of thing too. So, all right, guys, we're just gonna do E. Oh, like a physical
Sounds like a
package.
plan.
I don't know about that. That's a much more complicated question, I think. I don't know.
You've arrived at Club Clawfoot.
I'd have to know the
popular night
details,
spot
I
owned
guess.
by the Boromar clan. Counselor Sevilla Patella pulled some strings to get you on the guest list. Perhaps now you can drive a wedge between the Boromar and Vaunt. But it looks like there may be trouble before you even get
Hey, High
inside the
Lords, over on YouTube. By the way, have you guys beaten Too Hot to Handle on Elite? Or I think, did you guys do hard? I can't remember who. I want to take I don't know what the current standings are on the new raid, other than there's one video, at least one video completion out there, so hopefully, there's more. Anyway, people who say that Epic Elite is the same as Reaper except for not getting the XP are just wrong. I mean, they're just wrong. So, whatever.
It's
I
slightly
value your
harder, but
feedback.
not by much.
I value
It
your
goes-
wrong feedback. It's just not true, though.
Those Dosk thugs were loitering near Club Clawfoot. But this is Boromar clan territory. Something's brewing. And you're smack in the middle of it. The bouncer opens the front door, allowing you to enter Club Clawfoot. The Dosk thugs
And
lurking
specifically
outside
Secular
have
Squirrel
systems
regarding
nerves
sending like a sword
on. You
in
want me
to
check
decorate
on
the
Club
office.
Clawfoot's employees
That's happened
before
unsolicited
you
a
talk to the
surprising number of times. I don't know how much whether I should even say this, but it is not unheard of for us to occasionally get things like that in the mail and be like, thanks. I mean, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's always a little like, oh, about that. So maybe keep those swords to yourself. Yeah.
Tiny is concerned about the safety of a shipment he recently received. He thinks it might
I
be
may
proven.
actually have a small pile of swords at my desk that may be related to people sending them in to me. I have heard some rumblings
You
about
notice a sign
where
on the door.
perhaps
Rat infestation. Exterminators have already been contacted. Do
Night
not
Revels,
open
some of the potential Night Revels update might be this year. I've heard a few things, but I don't think we're ready. We're certainly not ready to announce anything. But I'm not sure
I
that it's
got it.
100% solid yet either. I think
If you guys
that's
want
still
to take them off.
open for discussion. We got priorities like getting out the new raid, hopefully next week. We are working full steam ahead on update 43. And that's going to have quite a bit of things in that too, so should be pretty cool. So there's at least 3 things that I know of that we are on the cusp of announcing that will probably be pretty big news so, for the DDO community. What should we expect in update 43? Ask me soon, we'll have a much stronger answer for you.
Sounds good to know, run it.
Can I do this? Can I hop? Get the chest. Bonk. There we go. Weekend bonus. I'll take care of that in just a second here. Yes, the new rate is before update 43. 100%. 43 will not be next week. Oops. Right,
What would it take for things like chests and remnants in the air to fall to the ground?
Probably a new game engine.
Because, like, treasure bags and stuff do it. If you break something, it falls and lands on the ground.
Or it falls to the floor.
Treasure bags are not chests.
At the Warforged.
The employees report nothing terribly unusual. You can tell Fenwick that all is quiet in the nightclub. The caretaker of these clawfoot dinosaurs says that the door mechanism is faulty.
Sure, you want to come
Needs
open up the
repairs
lever
before the beasts
since you
can
got
be
repair?
returned to their rightful halfling owners. Fenwick is relieved to hear that the club is safe and secure. He gives you permission to approach Regina, Club Clawfoot's manager.
I doubt my 36 repairs
A
sufficient.
piercing alarm reverberates through the nightclub. Regina turns to you and cries, "The alarm! Someone's breaching our magical wards! It must be an attack! Quick, adventurers! Do what you do best!"
Okay, so sorry, I'm in the middle of combat. I don't want to get too off topic. Well, I mean, honestly, we are probably the most sword-friendly office that, you know, exists outside of maybe a sword manufacturer. But still, there are basic office etiquette issues with having large weapons in the office. So, you know. You know.
And of course, the Harpies of Champ.
No. Username. We have nothing to do with that.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you have plenty of swords, but what you need is a big old battle axe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah. We are lacking in polearms. This is probably true. As in-game, out-of-game as well, we are probably lacking in polearms. don't send us any photos.
So we can't send you a giant stick?
Yeah. So Nivmine, I definitely have seen your channel on YouTube a fair amount. I know I've featured you in the Chronicle in the past, but I am specifically down for doing it again. I have got the Chronicle to work on either end of the day today or tomorrow, so I'd be happy to include a link to your channel. Perfect timing. Just get that to me. Actually, you don't even need to get that to me. I can find you.
We gotta get rid of the harpy before she starts summoning more.
If you specifically want something in particular called out, however, get in touch with me on, like, Twitch. Not Twitch, but Twitter or something, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Also, be wary of the chairs over there. That's a huge stuck spot.
Piling's coming up.
Cool, Harpy is down.
Sweet.
We got a bunch of
we got
noise
more
incoming.
guys.
Yeah.
Sure, you want to get the lever so that they can help out, so we don't have to aggro as much.
We got this.
Nope.
No secular.
Don't have
We're
the skills for it.
I don't see a lot of sandwiches in the office. I'm sure they get eaten, but I think we are relatively light on the sandwich front.
A piercing but pitch-perfect scream rings throughout the nightclub. It's encore. The main stage must be under attack.
Yeah, I can't get either. Repair or disable.
Alright.
Great check.
Gotta
if
switch
you
to
wanna
my
pop the
disabled gear.
door.
That's true. I did start DDO Cast way back in the day. It was around Christmas 2006. First episode out February 2007.
Locked.
I have not heard of plans to update monster manuals. That's not to say it will never happen. I just, like, in terms of a new monster manual,
Do you
just
want
think
a
we've got
detour
other
to get back?
priorities. I'm sorry, what was that? Could you repeat that?
Do you want a detour to get back to the beginning?
Nah, we'll just run.
Alright.
Wouldn't that be funny if they accidentally clicked on the detour at some point? Oops. I have spell point potions if I need them, but I'm kind of trying to see if I can do without here. So, one question that came up that I think is really exciting as well, and another reason why Punch Bowl Indianapolis is going to be, I think, good for our DDO meetup is until 10 p.m., minors, those under the age of 21, are allowed in the establishment. So our event runs from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, and then at 10 p.m. Eastern, per establishment policy, all those under the age of 21 need to be out. However, that does mean that if you're at Gen Con with your, let's say, kind of older age kids or kids who that kind of meetup would be appropriate, they're welcome. Of course, they can't drink and all that, but at the same time, they're allowed in, and that's really exciting. Sometimes it can be hard to find under 21 places, particularly in downtown Indianapolis, to host player meetups. And if this works out this year, this could be really good for us. I too have often thought about, you know, the hunter's manual, where it's just like, how many cows and deer and stuff have you taken out? Alright, if you sent an email to me, Nivmind, I'm sure I can just find it with a search, and I just haven't had the time to do so yet. But I will do so. Which is better, power attack or precision? I have no idea. I went with power attack just because I'm going on high attack speed, high-ish attack speed, and the extra damage seems like it would be a good thing. But you may well be correct that would make more sense.
The defeated gargoyle cackles and rasps. I have failed, but the others will crush you. Forever. More attacks are on the way, but for now, you have a moment to rest.
I'm not particularly familiar. I have not heard of specific lag issues on G-Land, Varg, unfortunately. Hopefully that's something that
The magical
our folks
alarm
can
triggers
catch.
once again.
No!
Okay, that was a bit quick.
Nightclub has resumed.
Fine.
Good thing I just picked up a spell point bot. One of the optionals should give you a shrine.
Yep. Probably. So the other thing Yamini to mention, because you say, I assume presumably correctly, a swashbuckler, it's better to get precision unless you go tier 5 war chanter. I would mention also that this swashbuckler is pretty old and hasn't really been touched since not too long after swashbuckler first came out. So, you know.
Right.
Alright, let's clear up the trash here. And yes, Secular Squirrel, I do have the ability to get a pet rock, and if you can PM me on the forums, I'll get you a pet rock, Secular. It's cool. I'd be happy to.
I so gotta get an epic spell storing ring.
As soon as I mention this on the forums, my private message inbox tends to get a little inundated. So I can't promise that I will get everyone a pet rock if they want one. But in general, I'm pretty open to it. If I've got the time, I'll, next time I'm in that world or whatever, I can drop Any plans to get DDO more exposure with the burgeoning D&D webcasts? Well, for one thing, we're doing a D&D webcast, and that's Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here, on twitch.tv/DDO stream. It is DDO peeps playing D&D, and that's called D&D Night on DDO stream. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, we're definitely interested in teaming up and doing things like that and kind of working in that space, because you're right, D&D streaming is pretty hot right now, and we like D&D streaming, and we like D&D, so yeah, we're down. Let me know what you got in mind. One quick note on the Pet Rock. The Pet Rock is a little bit of a hacked creature companion. That's kind of why it's free for events and that. But it doesn't take headgear, so you can't put a pirate hat, for example, on your Pet Rock.
That's because it is a headgear on top of a frog.
It might be. Yeah.
Yep. If you
It wasn't,
onto
you know,
the pet,
it's not the kind of thing you'd want to spend an actual, say, like, week of developers' time putting together for just kind of a little freebie joke item. So, to some extent, the quality is commensurate with the work involved, right? But it's a cool little giveaway, and people dig it. And I dig it, so.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Alright, next. This is on Sarlona. So, the reason people are taking precision on their high-speed swashbucklers is simply a 2-hit peg. I guess I haven't really found 2-hit to be a particular challenge in this character, so I don't know if that's really the right call for me. So, you know, we did, as you guys have just been talking about earlier, you know, we've been doing some stuff with Maze Arcana and Rudy and Satine, and they did voice work. They are, you know, tabletop D&D focused on their live stream. And I know that there are some tabletop live streamers out there that have put together sessions based on DDO dungeons and that, which is always awesome. At one point, I had tried to look with Patrick from DDO Cast to see what the state of the in-game maps are in terms of portability to get some kind of just raw big map file that could be used to overlay into like Fantasy Grounds.
We run out of stuff here before we go in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did not get.
You didn't want to blow
The
it?
quality just isn't there. We can't blow it up like that. They're made for that specific window, and it just doesn't. There was a host of problems with trying to get it out of game, but. Thing about, you know, a lot of times people tend to point to like the biggest name in a thing, and then say you guys should get X, right? But a group, let's just say like Your Vin Diesels, you know, a great example. Or your Patton Oswalts. You know, your well-known D&D kind of celebrities, as it were, tend to be busy folks, and they are often maybe out of scope for something that they could do for Dungeons and Dragons Online. That's not to say if, you know, if, as you said, Critical Role wanted to do something for us, oh, heck yeah. You know, we'd be like, oh yeah, sure, dude, let's do it, right? But I think practically they might be too busy to be able to take on those number of projects, because if they can do something with us, then they can probably do something with the other 50 people who ask, right? So it's just sort of the reality of that world, I think. Alright, you're actually saying I'm getting too many grazing hits, so I am having 2 hit issues. Yeah, you're probably right. I actually may have the wrong sword equipped as well. Yeah. Alright, well I will look to swap out Precision then. Like I say, this was kind of a character made back when Swashbuckler first came out, and the basic idea is high attack speed combined with the widening critical threat range on a one-handed rapier build with a buckler, and I went Fear the Wild here just because especially back in those days, the adrenaline reproc on high attack speed bards was pretty darn good, so it worked. What can I say? Turn PA off, see if the grazing hits change. Okay. Not significant.
No problem.
Secular Squirrel, I have heard of no plans to have craftable secular weapons. I don't know where that rumor came from, but that's not one I've heard. Or craftable, did I say craftable secular or sentient? I meant. You had asked about if we were going to do craftable sentient weapons per a rumor, and that's not a rumor I've heard of.
A peaceful quiet
do I think it's
descends
happening.
over the nightclub once more. Now you can finally talk to Regina.
All right.
For your help in keeping
Well, we
her
finished,
and
so that's good.
alive,
Yep.
Regina has promised to do everything she
Glad I was
can
able to keep all
protect
that trash off you guys for a while.
and
Yep,
Vaughn
I think Epic
have
Bleed
her.
was probably the right call for us.
Yeah, we only got 4 people, so.
Yep. I will get you guys a code in the in-game mail a little bit later on today. Thanks for joining me. And I will see you a week from Friday at Gen
Thank
Con.
you, Jerry.
I will please RSVP if you can make it. Quick programming note, I'll not be here next week. I'm going to be on the road heading to said event. A thing related to said event. So there you go. Yes, we're making a whole line of secular squirrel weapons, squirrel bane weapons in particular. Sorry. How to join runs? Usually just I'm in the game world about 11:55ish. Just send me a tell, and we'll take care of it that way. Next week I will be on Thalanis. Not next week, because I'm not on next week. 2 weeks from today, I will be on Thalanis. And we'll see what we're going to end up running here, so. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.